Hello, welcome to Practical C++ Programming, the beginner course. My name is Zach, and in this tutorial we will be discussing file output. Now, in earlier sections we talked about just basic console output, and I want to stress to you to not get too concerned about file output because it's actually a lot more simple than it's going to seem at first. It's going to be a lot of new stuff, but if you just look at it and practice it, you will see how much more simple it actually is than it's going to first appear. That being said, the first thing we have to do when dealing with file output is include a new library. So we've been using this #include IO stream, which stands for input output stream. And we still need this library for our program to work, but we need to add a new one. And to do that, we're going to say #include, and the new library that we're using is called fstream, which stands for file stream. So you have input output stream, and now we have file stream. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is declare an output stream file, so to speak, an output stream file that we are going to use. And to do that, we say OF stream, which stands for output file stream, and then you give the output file stream a name, and we're just going to call it output file. Okay, now output file, what you want to do is add parentheses and put a semicolon, and in these parentheses I want you to declare the file name of the output file that you want to use. Now, that being said, if there's already an output file that has been made that is in the current directory, then of course you just want to enter that file name. Now, if it's in a different directory, you're going to have to specify the full path, and to do that you would say, C for the C drive, colon // users // and you do have to have double backslash when using these strings. And without going too much in depth, because I would really need to put that in a new tutorial, and I will actually make a tutorial about that. But the first backslash when dealing with strings is considered an escape character. So just know that whenever you're specifying these files and you use a backslash, you need to put two of them in order for the first one to be read. So that's how I would do that. But for me, I'm just going to declare a new file, and it's going to be in the current directory, and I'm just going to call it names.txt. Just like that. And if you run this, everything should run fine. It will just return 0, and you know that you don't get any errors. Now, names.txt is going to be the name of our output file that just got created. So if we actually go to open right here, it should have created a names.txt file right here, as you can see, for us, since we just ran the program. So now that the file is created and everything is fine, we can actually start writing to that file. Now, before we do that, it's always good practice to have a branching statement in case something goes wrong with creating that file or finding it. And what I like to do is say if not output file, which means output file, if not output file, it basically means if the output file returns false, meaning that it couldn't be created, then run this code. So that means if the output file names.txt could not be created nor found, then do this, and we'll just output the file could not be found. And then we'll say return -5. And this can be any value. I could say return -7, I could say return 9. I usually put a negative value like -10 or -5, and that way when we run the program, like we'll run it right now, if it says process returned -5, I know that the file was not found. And you just use a random number like that you can easily associate with an error, and that would definitely be an error. But since process returns 0, we know that names.txt was created. So let's move on and let's actually write to this file. And to do that, let's create a string name equals Zach, and this is going to be a fairly easy example, and whenever we make our practical program at the end of this section, you'll see a more in-depth way of looking at file output. But for now, I'm just going to show you an easy, this in the simplest way I can, how it's performed. So we're going to make string name equals Zach, and now we're just going to write that name to a file. And to do that, we use our output stream name, and the handle on that is called output file. And then to write to it, you use the output operators, as so, less than, just like if we were doing cout to output to the screen, we use these less than. Instead, we're going to do output file, which is our output stream up here, and we're using output file. That's the handle name, you should say. So output file less than name, and then return 0. And if we run that, everything should run fine with no errors. And if we open, let's just open names.txt real quick. We're going to open it right here, and you can see Zach was written to this file. So that is a basic introduction on file output, and in the next tutorial we're going to discuss file input, which is actually a little bit more complicated. So stay tuned, and thank you for watching.